You are about to hear something most 70-year-olds never do, and it could save your life. Nearly half of all heart attacks in adults over 70 are silent. No chest pain, no crushing pressure, no sweating or arm numbness like you see in the movies. Instead, your body sends you one quiet warning, one signal that almost everyone ignores. And ignoring it is the most dangerous thing you can do after age 70. If you ever felt a sudden wave of fatigue that didn't make sense, or shortness of breath while doing something simple, comment yes right now. Because what I'm about to share with you could be the reason you're still here 1 year from today. Stay with me until the end. The third point will surprise most people, and it may be the one your own doctor never told you. Let me tell you about a patient I saw just last month. His name was Bill, 73 years old, retired teacher. Walked 2 miles every morning, never smoked, ate well, and he told me, "Doc, I feel fine, just a little tired lately." We ran an EKG. His heart had already been damaged. A silent heart attack had happened, and he never knew it. That's why I'm recording this, because what Bill felt, that little tired, is exactly what I'm talking about. And I don't want you to be the next Bill. Stay with me, because point number 2 is something almost every senior misinterprets as normal aging. 1, the shortness of breath that most seniors call out of shape. Have you noticed that climbing a flight of stairs or carrying groceries feels harder than it did a year ago? Most people over 70 say, "I'm just getting older." And that's what I want you to stop doing. When your heart is struggling to pump blood, your lungs have to work harder to get oxygen. That's not aging. That's a warning sign. Here's the real-world scenario. You're walking from the parking lot to the grocery store. Normal pace. But by the time you reach the door, you need to stop and catch your breath. That is not normal after 70. If this has happened to you even once in the last month, stop and listen to me right now. This is not about being out of shape. This is about your heart asking for help. The solution? If you notice unexplained shortness of breath during mild activity, do not wait. Call your doctor, ask for a stress test, and drop a 1 in the comments if you've experienced this, and brush it off. 2, the just too tired feeling that isn't actually tiredness. Here's the second silent warning, and this one is even easier to miss. You wake up after a full night's sleep, but by 10 a.m., you feel like you could take a nap. By lunch, you're exhausted, and by dinner, you can barely stay awake for your favorite show. You tell yourself, "It's normal for my age. I'm just getting older." I need you to hear me clearly. That is not normal. When your heart is damaged, even slightly, it pumps less oxygen to your brain and muscles. Your body responds by making you feel drained, not because you need rest, but because your heart is struggling. One of my patients described it perfectly. She said, "I feel like I'm running on a dead battery every day." That was her silent heart attack. And she didn't know it until we checked her heart. If you have felt this way for 2 weeks or longer with no clear reason, here's what I need you to do. Write down 3 questions for your doctor. What's my blood pressure? What's my cholesterol? And do I need a heart scan? Drop a 2 in the comments if you've been blaming fatigue on age, and now you're wondering if something else is going on. 3, the one warning you cannot afford to ignore, and this is a surprise I promised. It's called new onset shortness of breath during minimal exertion. Let me translate that for you. If you've been able to walk from your car to your front door without stopping for the last 5 years, and suddenly, in the last few weeks, you're stopping twice to catch your breath, that is not aging. That is your heart sending you an emergency message. Why do most people ignore this? Because it doesn't hurt. No pain. No sharp feeling in your chest. No panic. You just feel a little breathless. You slow down. You think, "I'll mention it at my next checkup." And by the time that checkup comes, your heart attack may have already happened. I cannot stress this enough. This is the warning that sent Bill to my office too late. And I do not want that to be you. So here's what I want you to do right now. If you're over 70 and you have noticed any change in how winded you feel doing things you used to do easily, stop what you're doing and call your doctor. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. If you've noticed this and you make that call, drop a 3 in the comments right now. For The heartburn, that is not heartburn. Here's another silent signal that confuses almost everyone over 65. You feel a burning sensation in your chest or throat. You think it's acid reflux. You take an antacid. It helps a little. And you move on. But here's the difference you need to know. Heartburn usually happens after eating. Silent heart attack symptoms do not. They happen when you're resting, walking, or even lying down. If you've had heartburn that comes and goes for no clear reason, especially if it's accompanied by any of the things we've already talked about, shortness of breath or unexplained fatigue, you need to pay attention. If the burning happens without a meal, without spicy food, without lying down after eating, it is not heartburn. It is your heart. I have seen patients delay treatment for months because they kept buying Tums instead of getting an EKG. If you've ever had chest discomfort and called a heartburn, but you weren't sure, drop a 4 in the comments. 5. The dizziness or lightheadedness seniors blame on old age. You stand up too quickly and feel dizzy. You think, I'm just getting older. My blood pressure is dropping too fast. But here's the problem. A silent heart attack reduces your heart's ability to pump blood to your brain. And when that happens, you get dizzy. Not because you stood up too fast, but because your heart is struggling. Here's the real-world test. If you feel dizzy when you get out of bed in the morning, every morning, that's one thing. But if this started recently, if it's new, if it happens when you're standing still or walking, that is not normal. Dizziness combined with shortness of breath or fatigue, even mild, is a combination you cannot ignore. If you felt dizzy in the last month and you've been brushing it off as just my age, drop a 5 in the comments and then go see your doctor. Now let me pause for a second because we've covered 5 silent heart attack warnings. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but doc, I felt some of these things and I'm still here. Maybe it's not as serious as you're saying. That's exactly what Bill thought. And that's why I'm going to show you something most doctors won't tell you. The most important point number 6, is something your doctor may never say out loud, because it's not a symptom at all. It's a lifestyle pattern, and it's coming up right now. 6, the one silent heart attack trigger you're probably doing every morning. Here's something most people over 70 never connect to heart attacks, but it's one of the most dangerous habits I see in my practice. I'm talking about what you do within 60 minutes of waking up. Here's the pattern. You wake up. You pour your coffee. You sit down. You watch the news. And you don't move for the next 2 hours. That stillness, that prolonged sitting, especially first thing in the morning, increases your risk of blood clots. And blood clots in your heart cause heart attacks. Now, I'm not saying don't drink your coffee. I'm not saying don't watch the news. But I'm telling you this. After 70, your morning routine needs to include movement, even if it's just 5 minutes of walking in place, or stretching, or making your bed, because the science is clear. The first hour after you wake is when your blood is thickest and your heart is most vulnerable. And sitting still for that entire hour is a silent partner to heart attacks. If you are over 70 and you sit for more than 60 minutes without moving, drop a 6 in the comments. And then I want you to stand up and walk to the kitchen right now. 7. The I'll check it later mindset that kills. This last point is not a medical symptom. It's a behavioral symptom. And it's the most common thing I see in seniors who have silent heart attacks. The mindset sounds like this. I'm not in pain. I'm not dying. I'll ask my doctor about it at my next appointment. Here's what I need you to understand. A silent heart attack does not announce itself with sirens. It whispers. It hides. And then it causes permanent damage to your heart muscle before you ever feel a single twinge. The difference between surviving a silent heart attack and living with heart failure is often just one thing: how quickly you acted on a vague, unexplained symptom. If you have felt any of the things I've talked about today, shortness of breath, fatigue, dizziness, burning, or new breathlessness during minimal activity, and you have not called your doctor, you are making the exact same mistake that thousands of seniors make every single year. And I do not want that to be you. If you're going to call your doctor tomorrow, drop a 7 in the comments right now. Let me leave you with 3 things to remember today. Number 1, The most dangerous heart attack is the one that doesn't hurt. It hides behind shortness of breath, fatigue, and dizziness, and you cannot ignore it. Number 2, the single warning most 70-year-olds miss is new-onset breathlessness during minimal exertion. If walking from your car to the store has become harder in the last few weeks, that is not aging. That is your heart talking to you. Number 3, the most powerful thing you can do right now is call your doctor today. Not next week. Not at your next checkup. Today, I want you to live longer. I want you to see your grandchildren grow up. I want you to enjoy your retirement without heart failure limiting what you can do. So here's what I need from you. Comment, "I'm done ignoring," if you decide to take this seriously. Like this video if you want more life-saving information for seniors over 70. And subscribe to this channel because every single week I share the kind of advice your doctor may not have time to tell you. And please share this video with one person over 65 who needs to hear it. You could be the reason they catch their warning before it's too late. Until next time, take care of yourself. Your heart is listening to you right now.